everybody's doing all right. Everybody had a good weekend. Good start to their holiday, that kind of thing. Hey, Sparky B, number one in the hizzy. For show. A little too spicy. Divine. Darren, what's up? Sparky B again. G513. Crow Lady. Little Zeke. CW. That's right. Good seeing here, man. You're here all the time, man. I appreciate you, bud. Moon Fairy. Cat. Vivid. She Robin. Jacqueline. Wild. Skynet. Yeah. It probably is live for sure. Carrie. Cindy. Anita. Jill. Good to see you. Good to see you. Appreciate you. Really do. Sparky B again. Captain. Amos. Marie. Good to see you, girl. There you go. How about that? There you go. You got a wrench, Marie. You know, CW, where are you at, man? Yeah, I gotta quit doing this. I just appreciate you guys so much. But yeah, I probably gotta cut it somewhere, huh? I'm getting about to that limit, guys. Mama J, what's up? Handyman, Lori, Julie, Esther. So yeah. Hey, Axel, what's up? What's black? I really do. I wish I could give every one of you guys wrenches, but that would just be like ridiculous. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I really do, though. I mean, I don't look at any of you guys any different. I think that everybody, gives back to the show just as, pretty much just as much as each other. Everybody else. So I do appreciate that. So yeah, just a little update on my health. Guys, I'm going to try to get to the doctor tomorrow, so we'll have a little bit more going on there. A little something else too, just kind of add on to that. My aunt she's actually in the hospital right now. She got, COVID-19 for the second time. Now, I know that there's a whole lot of around that, okay, guys? I get some people think that it's not real. I get that some people think that you can't really test for it. And I can't say that I disagree, okay? I'm just saying that, what we're being told and all we can go off of is what we're being told, really, when it comes to that. Unfortunately, we're all at kind of there. Hey, Christine. Kind of just stuck there, but she's really, really bad right now. So I could really use some prayers for her. She's actually got double pneumonia and the possible blood clot in her lung. So it's really bad. People are getting sick. That's right, Marie. Whether it is what they say that it is, at some level, guys, we have to just forget that and just let our feelings just kind of go to the wayside when we're talking about trying to get our people well. You know what I mean? We just can't ignore it. We can't ignore the fact that they're sick. And then we can talk about it later. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm at. That's why I don't argue with people about it anymore like I used to. I used to get pretty upset. I've had quite a few people diagnosed with this in my own family. So it is kind of a smack in the face when somebody just jumps on here as soon as I say something like that and they just want to start screaming fake this and fake that. And whether it is fake, whatever it is, okay? Fact is, I'm looking at my family members and they're sick. So you're welcome, CW. You deserve it, bud. And there's a lot of different, and I've been trying to push the rest of my family to, hey, don't let them put her on a vent unless they absolutely need to. Because people that get on that don't come off, guys. I'm telling you. The percentage is so lopsided there, it's ridiculous. And that's, and that's kind of where we're at. She's in the hospital now. There's no doubt about that. With what she's got going on. Even if the COV wasn't involved, she's still extremely sick. They didn't even get the test back for that until today, and she'd been in the hospital for days. So, yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like Julie says, there are a lot of mutations that's already going. It's already happened. It's just, guys. What do we do? What do we do? And it just, it's almost to the point where, nobody knows. Nobody just knows what to do. We all have our opinions, and most of them are valid. But how do we initiate anything? We can't. That's the whole point. As much as we want to come on the internet, scream and yell and complain, until we physically do something to stop it, ain't none of us better than the other. None of us. And that's what's bad about it. We can sit up here and scream all day long. I could do it on my channel 24 hours a day. And it absolutely means nothing if nobody takes action on it. That's the whole thing. And I'm not taking a shot at anybody here or anywhere else, but I can tell you 95% of us, including myself, sitting right here in this chair doing this for you guys right now, I've not done anything physically to stop any of that. And I would venture to say that most everybody I'm talking to right now hasn't either, if they're honest with themselves. So, that's why we have to be able, to talk and listen to each other. And if it comes down to it, guys, at some point, somebody's going to have to stand up. And if one person stands up, maybe that'll catch. You never know. Never know. But we'll see. Hey, body and soul, good to see you. So, and at this level, well, it's like this, like Black Kachina just said right here. They're right. We all fell for it. It's just, yeah, you're right. So I've actually looked into that. So thank you for that. And that's the whole thing. They got us from the beginning. And most of us didn't even realize it. There were those of us in this community that were really, really being very scrutinizing at the beginning. And it stayed that way throughout the whole thing. But at the end of the day, we still allowed it. And that's, well, good to have you here, buddy. Always good to have you in here. And yeah, and at some level, guys, eventually something has to give one way or the other. But anyway, enough of that talk. I just wanted to say that. Oh, something else here. I want to check something real quick, guys. And I want to talk about this for a second too, because this is actually kind of interesting. I'm going to try to drop this link. Okay, let me know if it's working, because I'm going to tell you it's probably not. And I want to see it. You got to tell me if it shows up in your chat, not the one on the screen. Okay, because that's the one that I need to know. That's my PayPal. If anybody wants to help, help me there, that'd be great. It's awesome. I appreciate it, guys. Anything I get. Nope, not showing up there. Okay. Listen, guys, that's a platform-wide thing. Okay. I started doing some research on that a couple days ago, and it's not just me. It's everybody's channel. Nobody can drop links right now, and I don't know why. But what I can tell you is the time that it started was when we had the Google outage. You guys remember that? About a week or so ago? When everybody's YouTube stopped. Nobody could upload or get to anything. I actually did a video when it first came back on. When it came back up, guys, links were nobody could drop links. Yeah, my link's in the description, guys. So if you guys want to help me there on my PayPal, the link is there in the description. But we cannot put it in chat. I can't put it there. None of my mods can put it there. None of them. And I've been talking to some other channels that have nothing to do with what I do, and they're saying the same thing. We've been talking about this worldwide solar wind hack. If you guys want to talk about that for a minute, the company was called Solar Wind. Yeah. Believe that or not. But listen, man. All that stuff happens at once, and then all of a sudden we can't drop links either. Let's just talk about that for a second. What does that mean to people? That sounds to me, what do you guys think happens when things start? Like, if you've got a quote-unquote enemy, what's the first thing you want to take out? You want to take out the communications. You want to take out the propaganda. All that stuff, right? And all that stuff starts with links. starts with internet services. It starts with all that kind of thing. So that is probably what is going on. That's where you stop it. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. So I don't look for that to come back. Not anytime soon. In my opinion, if it was something that was like a software glitch or even a hardware glitch, it would already be fixed, guys. I mean, come on, how hard could it be to fix a chat, even server wide, even like, you know, platform wide? How hard could that be to fix that? It cannot be that hard. So for it to be down as long as it is and it not to be fixed and nobody is addressing it, I mean, come on. So that's so that's kind of what I'm saying, guys. And it's not just our genre of what we're talking about here. This is something that is going, you know, platform wide. No matter what your belief is on anything else, the fact of the matter is, they're stopping our freedom of speech here with that. That's what they're doing. It can't be said any other way. That's exactly what's happening. And unfortunately, when you're using somebody else's platform like what we're doing here on YouTube, there's not much we can do about it. There's just not. Yeah, Arena, I I like to see that. I would almost, man, I don't know. Wow. If that actually happened, Arena, wow, that's big. The new, yeah, I did hear a little bit of something about that, Armando. Yeah, some of that could be going on too, Jeff, I guess. I mean, guys, there's so many things that could be happening, but all I can do is look what's in front of me and kind of go off of that. But I just want to address that real quick with the link thing. I just think it's extremely odd, and I probably wouldn't even have even talked about it if it wasn't just me. It's everywhere. So it's not just our genre, like I said, guys. This is everywhere. This is platform wide. Nobody can drop links right now. Well, it's gonna, like I said, Christine, eventually it's gonna be over there too. I got a D Live, I just don't do nothing there with it, guys. So don't go over and subscribe or nothing. You know, I'm not gonna plan on going over there unless I need to. Fact of the matter is, guys, if it gets to the point where I have to shut my channel down or everything gets killed here, I'll probably just go AWOL anyway. I'm just being honest with you. I gotta protect my family just like everybody else does, you know. You know, so if they just shut us completely down, if it's just going to, listen, guys, this is how I look at it. If they're really truly going to try to shut everybody up, do you honestly think they're only going to shut down YouTube? Think about that for a second. Everybody runs off to these other channels and other platforms and tries to make backup channel this and backup channel that. If the big thing is actually happening, do you honestly think that we're going to have another platform to go to? There is no way in hell, excuse my language, but if they're that serious that they're going to shut down this platform, they're going to shut down all of them. So just know that. I mean, there is no doubt in my mind that that's what would happen. So, you know, the only thing a backup channel is good for, in my opinion, is if you're being targeted yourself and you see that happening, you know, on other channels. And if that starts happening here, most definitely I will start something to have a backup. But that is just something that it is what it is. So that's why I don't go to other platforms, okay? I just think that I'm just trying to explain to everybody why I don't have a backup somewhere else. That's it. That is the reason. Because if this platform goes down, they all will. Just saying. My opinion. But that's why. So, we will move on, okay? Sorry I even talked about that stuff. I don't like talking about stuff like that here on my channel, but with the link thing, not being able to drop a link, I thought you guys would be interested in hearing why. And it's just not me. So, anyway, we got Schumann resonance right here in front of us, and what this is, guys, this is definitely a a big spike. Now, notice how this is about roughly the same time as what we got going on here. This isn't much of a spike going on here, but it does, strangely enough, resemble the same kind of pattern. Roughly about the same time frame, roughly about the same kind of spiking in the same areas. So yeah. So that's what it is. And, you know, whether or not this is going to cause any ringing in your ears or anything like that, it just depends on how sensitive you are to this stuff. I do find it odd, though, that this is roughly about the same time frame, and it does look very similar in pattern. There was a little break here, but, you know, it's there in front of you. You know, you believe what you want on that one, but at the same time, we got to take this very seriously when we're talking about, you know, the Schumann resonance in general, because this touches everything, and this is everything. So when this thing starts going haywire, you have to understand that everything's going to start moving, and I mean everything. So just know that. It's just my opinion, and a lot of people share that opinion. There's a lot of ways to get around to understanding what this actually is. Verte, he does a channel. I send you guys over to his all the time. He's in my description. I think I got him in my description box down there if you guys want a link to his channel. Okay, so we got solar X-ray flux. No flaring going on. We do have a few active areas, but we don't really have any sunspots right now, guys. So that's probably why no X-rays. I started watching, you know, and of course the proton flux. This is what we're talking about with radiation. That's why we don't talk about it much, because nothing's happening. Usually you see the X-ray flux spike, and we have a decent sized flare before any of this proton flux starts going up at all. And there's usually a delayed reaction. You'll usually see a flare, and then you'll have a delayed time period, and then the radiation will make it here. Hey, Cosmic, what's up, bud? Or girl, I'm not sure. I can't remember if you're a guy or girl. Guys, I'm sorry if I get the pronouns wrong there. I love y'all. It's hard to keep everybody straight sometimes. So I do appreciate you guys, though. So, but hi, anyway, so thank you. Let me know, though. Let me know the pronoun, Cosmo. Okay? Girl or guy. That's all you got to put in there. Hey, Muse, what's up, dudette? I know the pronoun there. She actually changed her name to dudette one time, so me and Pyres would quit calling her dude and bro. So anyway. Yeah. Back at you, Muse. Anyway, the geomagnetic activity, guys, I've been watching some of the Magnetosphere models, guys, and they're getting kind of hit right now. We do have a geomagnetic storm on the way. There's a watch out. I do think we'll probably get pretty close. So, yeah. Oh, you got to check? Well, I'm judging by just the colors that most likely we're looking at a girl here. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. I probably should have just kept my mouth shut there, right? But, yeah. Anyway, against all odds, what's up? So, anyway, you got this going on here, and, yeah. So, we got to look at that, and this right here is what's got the geomagnetic storm watch happening. Yeah, I hope people don't think I'm trying to get political, because I'm not. I try not to. I do think it's all one big plan, but at the same time, I try to keep that off of this channel as much as I can. Every once in a while, I have to talk about it, but not too often. When we're talking about platforms, I'm not even talking political. I'm just talking about if it gets to that point. Guys, if they're going to shut one platform down, they're going to shut them all down. if it's really what's going on. So that's just my opinion. So anyway, I don't want to talk about that no more. I don't want to bring that into this. But this right here is what would be causing our geomagnetic storm watch right now. It was over here, if you guys remember. So here in the next day or two, we're going to start seeing activity, solar wind increases from this. And that will definitely, push us up close to, if not into storm level. Personally, I think with what we're seeing on our Magnetopause tools right now, I think that we're probably going to get there. It's just my opinion, because as we build, if we keep a certain level around and then we get really good smacking from this thing, it wouldn't take much to really push us up in the storm level. What does the storm level mean, G1? Probably not much of anything for us. You may see a few little things. You'll definitely see more Aurora, those kinds of things. Now, the biggest thing I would say that would happen would be an uptick in earthquakes. Okay? That's what I try to tell people, because usually that's what happens. Anytime our geomagnetism elevates, the chances of earthquakes happen. They go up. And again, they're doing more and more studies. There's nothing definitive yet on that science, but our observations, from what I've seen and from what a lot of other people have been showing and talking about, I do definitely think, and at this point I don't really have any hard data to show you, but I would say that it does affect the earthquake probability and intensity. But that, again, at this point, that would just be nothing more than my opinion. I can't show you any hard data on that. I know that they have done a lot of different studies now, and a lot of the mainstream peer-reviewed papers are coming back with similar kinds of things to say. None of them are willing to say that 100% absolutely helps it, but I guarantee you that's the way that they're leaning by reading some of these papers. Okay? So mainstream is starting to come around to that, and hopefully eventually they'll incorporate it into their models. They need to, in my opinion, because it is definitely one of those things that we can just directly point to most of the time and say, hey, look, geomagnetism right here, why do we have this uptick in earthquakes at the same time? It seems to happen more times than not. That's all I'm saying. And again, do I have any kind of hard data, peer-reviewed anything to show you? Absolutely not. So at this point, I can't just say anything other than it's my opinion. And I would say this too. Other people share the same opinion. People that know what they're talking about. Usually. Okay. So as you can see, we've got an uptick in density. It's been a slow uptick, which would indicate some sort of a coronal hole stream for the most part. Just like would be expected with an uptick in density, the speed's going down. The temperature seems to be dropping down some too. Now, when that stream gets here, it's all going to matter on, the BZ and the phi angle sometimes. The BZ is basically the angle which the solar wind hits us. This is the polarity of the solar wind, negative to positive. So when it does, it flips all the time. Right here was a flip. You see this? When you go from down here to up here that quick, that is a polarity flip in the solar wind. Alright, that gives us a little jerk on our magnetics. So, just know that. Know that, let me show you this real quick. I'll probably show you guys this often from now on because it's easier for me to show you. The solar wind travels along a magnetic connection line between the sun and Earth. Okay, or the sun and anywhere else. The winds are the solar wind is charged particles. Okay, that's what it is. So it's magnetic. So it stays on our magnetic connection line. That's the road it takes to get here. So the more dense particles stay closer to the middle of the road, and the less dense swing out like this, right? And the ones that swing out like that typically are moving faster. So every once in a while you'll get a stream that has dense and fast wind. And what we've seen happen before is you'll get that fast stream out ahead of it, and it'll hit our magnetosphere and it'll make it bounce around a little bit, but then behind it, trailing behind it, you'll see a boom, a big dense hit. And then other times it'll be reverse of that. So, and when it's in reverse of that, say we have a bunch of dense particles hanging out in front of Earth, and we get a bunch of fast ones that come in and run right into them, that really gives us a pretty decent hit, because it's taking all those dense particles and making them move faster. So when they start hitting us, it really gives us a good smack. So this is how the solar wind gets here. This is essentially the solar wind. It's charged particles following a magnetic connection line. That's what it is. It's not like wind is blowing. And I know that that's really easy to kind of think that's what it is, because it's what it sounds like, right? But it's not what it is. But right now our BZ is, this right here is probably why we're seeing a hit on our magnetosphere right now. Because this is actually, you know, getting like to the point where in the negative far enough that this would indicate we're probably taking some hits. Okay, and we are. So let me show you that here in just a second after I finish showing you this. But this is also another one of the models we use to see when the magnetism and stuff is going to be here from the solar wind, from density up here to velocity down here. And what you're seeing, guys, right here is where we're at in time. It's right at about the turn of the day, right? Now this is UTC, so we're probably a couple hours, kind of like right in here. You see this little hump right here? That is why we have a geomagnetic storm watch. That little bump is from that coronal hole stream. That's why this model is showing this. We can point directly back to the sun and show you why. So within the next 2 days, they expect that to be here. So really, a day from like right this second would be here. So it's more like a day and a half. So if we looked at this, and if the timing on this was correct, we're probably looking around noon. What's today? Noon on Tuesday, I guess. That would be that. That's about the time it would be hitting here. Okay. Here's stereo A. Now I was trying to look at some stuff to see why they've got stereo A going up this high too. Remember, stereo A is behind us. I call it behind, but you have to understand direction and space, and I'm not going to go too much into that. But when we're talking about this right here, you know, stereo A is here. This is the Earth. It orbits on the same line that the Earth does around the sun, but it's back here. Okay? I can't remember how many days it is behind us. But I would have to look at that. But that's its position. So for stereo A to be showing something here, but it's after we get our stream hit, it means that something else has happened right there. It could be another coronal hole facing stereo A. I don't know. But as you can see here, our velocity is definitely going to be on an uptick. Is it extremely high? No, but it is higher than what we would expect to see here. Aurora, right now. This is what we got right now as we speak. Why is this on an uptick? Okay. Hey, good to see you, Wolf. Becca, good to see you guys. Muse. Joanne, Catherine. By the way, guys, thanks for all the recent donations. I am going to read a couple names real quick before I forget. I'm still working on some graphics. I had to go back and change some stuff because some people didn't want their names in it, and I completely understand. It's a security thing. I get it, okay? No offense was ever taken to that. Matter of fact, they put it in the notations to me in the background that there was never no offense. It was just something that they just didn't want their name there. And I appreciate that, guys, okay? So if you guys do donate, please put a note in there that you don't want me to use your name if you don't want me to. I don't ever put a last name anyway, but regardless, it doesn't matter. I want to respect you guys. But so we got Nita, L, Ralph, D, Skywalker, K Skywalker, Tabitha P, Christine A, Nigel L, Mancella S, and K Skywalker again. So thank you guys so much. That's the most recent ones I've gotten. Nita, actually, that's a ×2 also. LEP and David W, Shaquille, are. And there's one there I don't want to mention name. So I do appreciate you guys. So thank you so much for everything that you guys have been helping me with. It's making such a difference in my life. You guys just don't even understand. So thank you so much. But anyway, the Aurora. This is what we got here. Okay. Let me say something here too, guys. You know, at the beginning of this particular live stream, I really didn't want to talk about all that stuff because I know it sounded very, very political. I didn't mean for it to, but I think it does affect what we do. When it's going to affect YouTube, it affects me and what I'm doing here. So I feel like I need to talk about it. That's the only reason. I try not to give my political leanings at all here on my channel, but when things are going to go south in a way, I have to say something about it. You know what I mean? But anyway, the Auroras, see how it's upticking right now? Look at that. So, you know, we could be seeing some Auroras down here on our border, United States. Okay? That is current right there. What this is showing you is current and behind. So, if I'm correct, 1221, yes. So, that's what that's showing. Now, there's a little bump here, a little jagged there. I'm not quite sure why we're seeing this particular uptick right now. I can't really point back to the sun to show you guys anything definitive. But, check this out. Now, I know that this is this is really something we would be looking at during a, let me refresh that, during a pretty good hit. I mean, so I'm gonna go down through here and just play them all real quick. That way they're loading. We're ready to go. So I'm gonna hit pause here and see what we got. So those are waves. This is speed up here, okay, guys. The sun's off to the left. This is what we call our bow shock out in front. It's the spot where the solar wind meets our magnetic field. That's all that it is. It's that spot. So as we get right there, you see how things are coming and hitting. And what I've noticed, and then you get a little faster right there. Okay, now the faster winds are going to be these orange colors. Okay. So if we're looking at this, that's what we're looking at. Now, how can we know direction on this? Well, if you look at this, you see how this is 600 and this is negative 600? So actually, this speed right here is most likely the same speed as this out here. It's just going the opposite direction. I don't know if that's correct or not. So maybe I just kind of scratch what I just said there. I need to research that. But I do know that we see these colors behind us a lot. And the ones that are, maybe that's polarity. I don't know. So I'll have to check that and see exactly what that is. I need to read up on that anyway. I should know that. That's ridiculous. I don't. I will definitely figure that out tonight. Anyway, I can tell you though that this is waves of solar wind coming in at faster speeds. When they are, the zeros would be right here in the middle, this lighter color. Okay. So one thing I did notice here was it's almost like, I wish you see that right there? Watch right in here. You see how it's almost like we had a little rumble back there? And I don't know what's causing that. It was actually worse earlier. It was like it was just kind of vibrating back there, like reverb or something, man. It was crazy. And it was only back here. It wasn't nothing happening in the front yet. This is density, okay? This is all it's showing you. It doesn't show you speed or anything. Just the density of the particles. Okay, now this is actually showing what I was talking about. Watch right here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to zoom in. I don't usually zoom in on these, but I'm going to today. Watch right here. You see how that's like, it's like little waves like starting here and actually moving that way and off to the side. See that? Isn't that kind of strange? It's just really strange. Now, again, there's probably a good explanation for that. I just don't know what it is. I don't know that I've ever actually seen it do something like that particular little soft little vibration and kind of just move across up and down and towards the front. See? It's just really strange. That's all. I don't know that it's really affecting us that much. Now, this right here is pressure. I don't want anybody to get confused on this because, you know, what we're looking at right here, I've seen other people say that this is really, really serious, and it's not, okay? This is something we've experienced since the dawn of time. Okay, this right here, yes, that's an increase in pressure. They're showing you, yes, that's an increase in pressure. But if this was going to affect us in a really, really bad way, guys, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Because this is like this all the time. It doesn't stay like that, but it happens all the time. So we don't need to be making a big deal about it when it does. That's my point. Okay, we need to make people aware, but we don't need to make a big, huge deal like the planet's going to just get squashed or something. But watch this. At the same time we've seen these rumbles, watch what happens out here in the front with the pressure. You see how that opened up? See that? Okay, then it closed back up. And you can even see the little rumble and pressure. Watch right here. I'll slow it down and we'll look at it again. See that? Right there? It's just really, really crazy. You know, so when that opened up in the front a little bit, you know, there was no pressure. I'm calling it opened up. It really didn't open up. The pressure actually got relieved right there a little bit. Either that or it pushed forward. Okay? You got to understand what we're looking at here. The darker colors are higher pressure. So I hope you guys can kind of see that. I mean, I'm trying to represent this the right way so you guys understand it. But, you know, and then there at the end. Now, guys, look. I want to show you guys this because we just got hit just now. Well, let's see what time this says. Yeah, just now. This graph here, by the way, guys, is definitely really close to real time as we're going to get. This actually gives us a capture every 1 minute. We don't get that on the older models. So watch what happens here on the end. See how we're pushed out? You know why we pushed out? When you guys see that pushing out, usually what happens is we get compressed and then we push back. I've explained it like this before. I'll do it again. It's like if you're wrestling with your uncle when you were a kid. He sticks his big long arm out, puts it on your forehead, and you're trying to rush him, right? Well, whenever he decides he wants you to hit the ground, what's he do? He just steps to the side and puts his arm down. Well, if we're getting hit in the front from the sun, and we've got, you know, and that's the arm sticking out. We're pushing up against it as hard as we need to stay in the same spot, right? Well, when the sun lets up a little bit, what happens? We push out because we're still pushing at that same strength. Right? There. Okay? Now, this is going to update again probably before I get off stream, so we'll come back and look at it. This is the other magnetic models, the Magnetosphere models. This is probably going to show you we all understand these a little bit better because of I'm also going to maximize that. I hadn't been doing that. I don't know why, so I apologize. This does give everybody a better look at what's going on. So forgive me for that, but I'll try to remember to do that in the future. If I don't, guys, somebody tell me, okay? I don't want to, you know, not do that. But sun's off to the right on this one. I am going to hit reset on that and let it update the most updated info. So what you're going to see, guys, we're getting multiple hits. That was a little one. You know, kind of a continuous little hit going on here. If you guys don't understand what this is, the blue lines are interplanetary magnetic field lines. It's our connection to the sun and other celestial objects. The black lines are our pole lines. Now we're talking magnetics, guys. Okay? That's what we're looking at. So they come off our poles. You've heard me say that stuff comes in through our poles easier. This is why, because it's a path of least resistance. It's following negative and positive. So it's easier to come in on our poles because we've got our magnetic field blocking us everywhere else. And it is on the north and south pole too, but it's not as strong. Anyway, we go forward. The red ones are the closed field lines, and sometimes those are the most important. I'm not going to go into why right now. That's a pretty long explanation. But they shouldn't really be doing what we're seeing right there. Okay? Now, when we get hit, everything's fine until we get hit. And that's what happened. We got hit. You've seen those pole lines do that. Even them doing that, though, is still kind of strange. And then we get the bigger hits. Now, see what happened here? See how they're just spiraling and just doing whatever they want? But that's what it looks like. They're not doing whatever they want. Obviously, they're doing it for a reason. But the pole line should come off the top, and go straight back. That's what they're supposed to. In a perfect world, perfect conditions, that's what they look like. Have they ever really looked like that for very long periods of time on this model? No. And this is what this is what I've come to understand myself, because I used to think it was a huge, big deal too. It's not a deal to where we shouldn't look at it and talk about it, but we can't over-exaggerate it. Because what that does is it muddies the water for when we actually do have something big happen. If this was a big occurrence, something like that, and we see this all the time, then why haven't we been seeing a big occurrence every day? That's my whole point, okay? So as we keep moving, this is really more like what the pole lines should be looking like. They shouldn't be really winding up, but we're getting hit. Now watch. Anybody that's never seen this before, it's probably going to blow your mind. You see this bubble starting to form back here. It's because we got hit in the front, obviously. And also, this is a two-dimensional model. You have to pretend that the magnetic field is like a sheet covering our planet here. And you take that sheet, grab it with your hand right there where the Earth is, and pull it toward your face out of your computer screen. That's more so what it looks like. It's not a flat front to back type of thing. This is trying to represent something three-dimensional, and it can't do it because it's two-dimensional. So sometimes this is kind of deceiving. When we see things go from the right to the left, yes, they're moving right to the left, but they could actually, as they come and they hit our magnetic field, they can move closer to you and then kind of go back around that way. You see what I'm saying? It's hard to show you that, but anyway, as we go forward here, you see that big blowout right there. Boom. Okay? Now I know people are going to be like, oh my God, what is that? And yes, that is a significant, just whopper jaw of a hit. Okay? Because it is. Now, let me bring you back to something real quick before we go further into that. If that was a very, very significant hit, and we should have seen our geomagnetic activity just spiked straight through the roof. And it didn't. Why? I'm going to tell you why. Because our Earth did its job. Our magnetic field did its job. It deflected it from us. Okay? That's what happened. So we have to understand that. So as we go forward, obviously that is a magnetic mess. We start seeing these lines. Obviously, we don't want to see these lines doing that. It's just pointing to something ain't correct. But the thing is, if we get hit in the front real hard, if you get hit in the face real hard, sometimes your butt can feel it, right? That's kind of what's going on right here. So as we go forward, we got hit again. See that? Boom, boom, boom. So there you go. There's that. you know, there's not really much else to show you there on that end of it. Let's bring it back down to normal. We'll take a look at it on this one. We'll update. I'll pause it. We'll go. Well, I'm not going to put that one like that. I don't like the way that that looks. What I'll do is I'll just zoom in. That's probably too far. So we'll go with that right there. So I'll update it so we get the latest captures here. And again, boom. See that? Watch. Watch down here. See that? Ain't that kind of strange? What that's telling me is that it was probably directional. Meaning that it didn't come from the same, you know, just straight from the sun. So something had caused us to get some sort of a glancing blow of some sort. Because the top and bottom were not reacting the same. If they were, then it would be, you know, in my opinion, more so just plain solar wind. Now, solar wind can hit us at an angle, okay? Understand that. So sometimes, you know, if we see it down here, maybe it's coming from this way a little bit or up here a little bit. But I don't want to, you know, take out the possibility of something else, you know, somewhere else causing some of this stuff. But you can see how even inside our satellite line, notice how things are like this. Now, when I look at this, and I really don't even like saying this, but I'm going to, okay? When I look at this, what does that look like? Right here. That looks like pole lines. You know, that looks like pole lines. Okay. You know, if I want, because if you look here, see? But these are in a different position. So I'm not quite sure what's causing that to give off that kind of a signature. Just understand that's inside our satellite line. And notice how everything kind of turned right there a little bit. And then boom, we get hit in the front again. Notice that only the top there moved. See that? The bottom of the bow shock didn't change at all. So that meant that the hit was coming from up here. And then it kind of rippled. And that's where we're at right now. So, like I just said when I showed you guys this, that makes a little bit more sense now, doesn't it? Because these are, yeah, see it, and I just updated it on purpose, obviously. But we'll go here. And, that was just a little hit, looks like. So, whatever's causing that, my guess is it is coming from the sun. But everything could be influenced by anything. Now, the bow shock, when you see a straight line like that, that's kind of odd too. So we're definitely getting hit. We're getting some geomagnetism. I'll just put it to you that way. Now, this is the Australian model. This is the most updated we can get right now. I am seeing a steady increase in density here, okay? We're bouncing between like 7 and 15. What's normal on that is 4. Okay? So that's what's happened there. Anything above 4 is increase. So, you know, we'll go back. We can look at the 20th here too, because that's really what we were looking at before we, obviously, the change of the day. But it looks like that's probably what happened. See how we're hanging kind of low with the density? Now, the density's starting to rise. And it was a kind of a slow increase. I showed you guys that earlier on the ACE data. See how it's steadily just increasing? And that's very indicative of a solar wind stream starting to impact. So my question and my wonder here is this, and that's why I bring it up, is that maybe, well, look at that. Wow. Huh. Look at this. So what we just got might have been an increase in solar wind speed. You guys see this drop in density real quick? It went from like a 20 all the way down to like a 5. That's a pretty decent drop. Now the solar wind speed dropped a little, or rose a little, but it didn't do what this did. So I'm curious on what happened there. But, you know. My question though is the timing off on this? Are we already seeing the first impacts of this? You know, how can we know? Well, how we're going to be able to, first place we're going to be able to tell is right here. If this next one, when it updates, because these are 3-hour time frames. They take the average and they plot it. They may even take the highest number there and plot it. Because if we get into storm level at all, they're going to have to show that we did. So if this gets up into a 3 on the KP, that would just be right here. Now remember, it has to get to a 5 for us to be in storm level. And again, what does storm level mean? Nothing more than what I told you guys earlier. If it's just a G1, we're not going to see much effects from it. Other than this, look. The auroras are definitely increasing. This is historic data. This is what is actually happening as we speak. That's the most recent right there. Matter of fact, let me hit reset there. And this is definitely the most recent. And what we were seeing yesterday was not this much. Seeds. That's the 21st. We don't have any data on seeds yet for LASCO C2. We do have some for the 20th. What you're looking at here, guys, the satellite is here. Okay, the Earth is here. The satellite sits right out in front of it. Okay, this is LASCO C2, and it's on what they call the SOHO Observatory. That's a satellite that sits out in front of the Earth. It orbits with the Earth around the Sun. But it's closer to the Sun than what we are. It's between us and the Sun. Just by about 1 million miles. Okay? So it's out there, so it's giving us our point of view. So when we see things on this, you know, we can pretty much get a decent idea when something happens on the Sun, whether or not it's coming at us. Now, one thing we can't really see on this particular graph is quote-unquote solar wind. What we see on these graphs are CMEs and solar flares. So when we're talking about a coronal hole stream, it's not really going to show up too much here. You can see it kind of get a little brighter sometimes in a more constant flow. You'll see it here get kind of bright sometimes too. But looking at this, with this being right in front of us, this is the occulter. That's not the Sun, not the surface of the Sun. This is. Okay? So it's out there, so it blocks the main thing of the Sun, main brightness of the Sun, so the camera can even do its job at all, or the tool on the observatory. Remember, on the satellite, there's multiple tools, cameras, whatever you want to call them, data collection, all that stuff's out there, right, on that satellite. So that's why we get the different looks, okay? Obviously, guys, that's Venus, in case anybody was wondering. I get that question a lot, and it's legitimate, okay? Also, that's why you got a gray box over here, for the same reason I just told you why they have the occulter. When something's really bright, it has to block that out so we can even see anything at all. So, yeah. Anyway, we will move on. Guys, I don't care if you guys talk about this right here, but please, I don't know if this is going on at all. It probably isn't, because my mods are great. You know, just kind of, I know that can get be a really heated subject, okay? So try not to get there, is what I'm trying to say. play nice, I guess, for short of another term. Anyway, this is stereo A. Okay, satellite's here. The Earth would be over here. Not quite 90 degrees. Actually, it's getting closer to 45 now. That the satellite's actually slowly moving towards the Earth. Okay, remember it's orbiting in the same orbital line around the sun. It's just kind of behind us or ahead, however you want to look at it. But as we're moving around the sun, it's moving at the same, same time frame here. So it gives us a side view of the sun and a partial backside view. So when we see things happen here, we can tell direction by using this particular satellite that's from the side, and this one, which is from the front. So if something looks like it's going to the left here, if we go here and it looks like it's going to the right, that actually means that it could be coming at us, just from perspective. Which means it would be going more like this, because the Earth would be here. It would be going between us and the satellite. Anyway, without going too much more into that, nothing much is going on with this right now. We haven't had any CMEs and things going on right now. Haven't seen any flaring. But, like I said, that can change in an instant. This is the CME tracker. Again, Earth is here. Here's stereo A, the one I just showed you from the side view. See how close it is to the Earth? So that's the difference in perspectives we get. As this gets closer to the Earth, our view of the backside of the sun becomes smaller. We don't get to see as much of it. This here is the Parker SP probe, I believe. The one they sent out there to kiss the sun. This here is Mercury, and this is Venus. This is why, from our perspective, we know that that's Venus. Okay? So, also, I showed you guys that sun diver yesterday. We'll show it to you again here real quick. See it right there? Notice how once it got here, we can't even see it after that. Watch. Here it comes. And, we can kind of see it over here, but it fades out of view. We don't get to see it. So I'm not sure if it actually dove all the way in. Sometimes these comets will make it around and get slingshot back out. They're orbiting the sun, is what they're doing. So, but a lot of times, especially ones like that right there, the sun will just suck them in and they're not going to make it. They get burnt up. Remember, it's a big ice ball around that comet there. That's why we get to see it at all, probably, because it's burning all that stuff off. All right, this is our geomagnetism. It's space weather's effect on our electrical grid. I'm doing okay, Angela. Thank you. I'm going to try to go to the doctor tomorrow, in case anybody was still wanting to know. Hey, Ricky, what's up? So, yeah. So, as you can see here, you can see that we're getting, and this is what I would expect to see with the Aurora uptick. Okay? Notice how nothing was happening, and then all of a sudden, it was a slow increase, and we see it nationwide here. But you see where it's located the most is up in here. It's kind of centering right there. That's because that solar wind is coming in, or wherever it's coming from is actually getting sucked in on the poles more. That's why we see it like that. Now, once in a while, we'll catch a blast down here, or anywhere really, and that's where, if that's the initial blast from a CME or something, we'll see that do that. Or even solar wind can sometimes do that. But with the BZ and the negative, right here, that angle's right for things to come in. And that's probably why we're seeing the uptick in the Aurora. Okay? So I'm just wondering if this ain't getting here a little faster. Or if there might have been a smaller, maybe we connected to it quicker than what they thought we were going to. I don't know. But regardless, you can see here's those active areas. They're no longer sunspots. They used to be sunspots when they were over here. They've decayed. Now this over here is one getting ready to crest the limb. Spaceweather.com's got that one circled right now because they think it's going to be a sunspot once it becomes visible to us. It looks very active, I'll tell you that. Whether or not it has the characteristics to be a sunspot, that's just, we're have to wait and see. Here's LASCO C3, and again, let me stress this. This is not a debris cloud. You see this right here? You know, I explained this at length the other day. Hopefully you guys caught that stream. But this is not a debris cloud. It is there every time, year to date. It follows it. It's not a debris cloud. Okay? And if it was, it would be something that we would experience and expect to see year after year after year after year. That is there every year at this time. I showed you guys that. Here's Comet Aurora, or whatever that thing's called. I can zoom in, give you guys a better look at that. The reason why you guys can't see this because the sun actually blurs this out. We can't see this from the dark side because obviously this is the sun. So the only time we're facing this comet right now is when the sun's out. So this is close enough to the sun that we can't see it with our eyes. This is too much of a glare. And it is, you know, it's got a pretty decent looking little tail on it. So it's putting off some good stuff. It's burning that ice core for sure. But that's why we can't see that. We talked about that a little bit last week, I think. That's been hanging around for a minute. Spaceweather.com. Alright. The Great Conjunction, guys. Here you go. The best time to see it would be, this coming morning. You got to look in your, I think it's southwestern sky. Let's see. At closest approach on December 21st, the two planets will just be 0.1 degrees apart. They're going to look like they're right on top of each other. You can view it by just binoculars or a small telescope. It says Saturn will appear as close to Jupiter as some of Jupiter's moons. Ain't that crazy? So the brightness of those two getting that close together is going to make this a really bright thing. And again, I put, just like I said, this is a once-in-a-lifetime event. It won't happen for another 800 years. So, there you go. It's a special thing when that happens. That's why I talk about it. Also, they're talking about the Geomagnetic Storm Watch right here. G1 class. Okay? They're not expecting it to be anything bigger than that. But there's a good chance we could get into that. Alright? They're saying the 23rd, which would be Tuesday. Well, no, that would be Wednesday, I think. Yeah, it'd be Wednesday. But it could be early Wednesday. They're talking UTC time also. So understand that. Also, they got this circled here, like I said. So they think that that active area is going to be a sunspot when it comes over. Most likely. Our percentage of uptick is at, what, that would be 17%. The uptick I'm talking about is the number of days we had sunspots facing the Earth. That's it. That's all that means. It can't tell you how active those sunspots were. We can look here and we can see the Gemini radio echoes. This was the Gemini meteor shower we had, and it got pretty high this time. This was very significant. I think it was upwards of like, what, 160 an hour? I showed you guys that video a little bit. This one here, they kind of show more of a coronal hole. This one is from SDO. Okay, the other one I showed you was from Soho. Or was it? No, I think I showed... No, it was from Go 16. I'm sorry. The other one I showed you earlier was from Go 16. This one... Here. See, it says Go 16. It's a 195 angstrom. So if we go back here, this is the 193 angstrom. So the angstrom in the light spectrum is off by 2 from one another. That's probably why we see a little bit more of a hole here. Okay? Notice, though, that these holes are now stretching down to the equatorial regions of the sun, which means that they're more apt to connect to us and give us more stuff. You can see how stuff's opening up here. So yeah, there you go. Now these active areas, again, they can fire it. I showed you guys the CME the other day that fired off that there was no sunspot nowhere near it. So things happen, and that's what I'm talking about. When we're talking about the activity, we can't just point to this, the number of days without sunspots facing us, because the sunspots that were facing this time didn't really flare a whole lot. So it didn't really increase the activity. All it did was give us a little bit more extra X-ray. That's it. They had 14 fireballs reported, and keep in mind this was, you know, just after the Geomanite shower. So during the Geomanite shower, there were like 256 a day being reported. Hey, Regina, good to see you. Dale, back at you, brother. Yeah, Dale, thank you so much, man. He sent me something in the P.O. box, so I want to give him recognition for that. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, he's supporting the channel and supporting me, and I appreciate it, bud. I really do. Hey, Craig, what's up? Taylor, hey, what's up? Wolfie, what's up? I said hi to Action here, didn't I? Yeah, there you are, bud. I said hi to Ricky already. Mighty Mouse, what's up? Mighty Mouse girlfriend. Uh-oh. Alright, Noctilucent clouds. Yes, they're becoming more and more prominent. What these are blue clouds on the poles. How are they formed? Well, we're told that they're formed by moisture that freezes around meteor dust on our poles. Hey, Rick, what's up? So that's what we're told. You know, I really have no reason to doubt that. Now, there's a season for these, okay? This season down here on the South Pole this time was like 2 weeks late. That's significant, okay? Oh, you did, Mark J? Cool. Cool, cool, cool. I'll check that out. Yeah, I guess I could, well, no, I don't have my phone. I don't want to go to my email. Yeah. While I'm here online, anyway, for obvious reasons. Okay, December 18th, we had one come real close here. This is near Earth objects. Notice that it's, you know, it's small, which is why it wasn't that big of a deal. This one here, the 1.2 was an 8, which isn't that big of a deal either. Where was the one I was looking at the other day? That was actually fairly close, and it ended up being a decent size. Like the 2.1, that's a 14. That's pretty decent size. You know, that's 14 meters. So, yeah. Earthquakes. Guys, I've been noticing something here, and I spoke about it briefly yesterday. Actually, I wish I'd have shown you guys this earlier, because they've already taken one of these earthquakes off. Because this is a 24-hour loop. And so what you're seeing here, there in Japan, that's the biggest one. Alright, now yesterday I was talking about how right around, it was, what, between the 35 and the 40 latitude line. We've seen a significant amount of earthquakes right along that line. Now, when I was clicking on these two here are exactly the same strength. Okay? This one happened at 22, which would have been 10 Eastern time. That one happened at 13, so they're about 7 hours apart. And then if you follow these down just on that latitude line or close to it, you know, we get these here in the strange places, here in Illinois and Tennessee. Yesterday we had one, I think it was on the border of Utah and Colorado, or even in, I think we had one, well, I think we had another one in Kansas, if I remember right. But a lot of them were happening right there. Now, I also find it odd that we've gone really strangely quiet right here. It's kind of strange. you know, we want to see some activity, guys. If everything just dead stops, what happens is when it comes back, it usually ends up being a big quake first. So that's what I would say, you know. Also, here in MENA, this is where a lot of the activity is right now. Look at all this. And you wouldn't even notice that unless you zoomed in. You know, this is the default right here. So if you're just looking at this and you're just breezing by it, you're not even going to know. So please zoom in. You know what I mean? If you ever go look at this for yourself. I mean, we're talking probably, I don't know, 50 earthquakes right there. And also, why I got you here on that particular subject, I do want to take you guys over here real quick and show you Ron Tyler, his channel, Emergency Management Associates. Ricky and Isaiah's granny tipped me off to his particular channel, and he does a really good job. Man, I'm telling you what, the guy is on top of it. He's on top of it. He cares. He's genuine. I'm telling you guys, he's just a really good guy, and he's intelligent. And these are the best guys to go listen to. Let me tell you why. Because if they think that what somebody else is telling you is wrong, number one, he's going to come out and say it, but he's not going to be rude about it. And if he's wrong, he'll come out and say, hey, I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I kind of missed that one, that kind of thing. Those are the good people to go listen to, because that's where you're going to get your honest information. And that, you know, that's why I like Ron so much. He's just a really good guy, number one. I just got to be frank with you guys. Guys, I will not go watch somebody that's just a complete prick. I'll go watch some of their channels if I know that it's like a 4 or 5 minute video and it's straight data. I might go look at those, and I do. Because I do think you find some good truth there sometimes. But I won't support their channels for that reason. You guys know who those channels are, and the ones that I'm talking about are big enough that they don't need my help. So I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, Ron's a really good guy. I wish I could drop a link in here, guys. I'll tell you what I can do. Well, right there is his channel name, Emergency Management Associates. So just type that into your search box, you'll find it. I guess I could. Let me know if you guys see this. I'll be interested to see if you guys can even see that. Because it's not a website, it's just a name. It'd be no different me typing it, I wouldn't think. So hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, cool. Cool, George. Glad. So yeah. Guys, go check him out. Go give him some love. Matter of fact, I went over and said hi to him during the stream. I just didn't have enough time to stick around. I'm going to go back and watch his replay, though. He's just a really good guy. I support him all the way, guys. So please go support. Show him some Wages World love. You guys won't regret it. Do you guys regret any of the other channels I send you to? Probably not. Just saying. So anyway, because I won't send you to somebody that's a prick. I promise you. At least not in my opinion. So we got these. That's a decent sized earthquake, guys. A 6.3. And then we had one down here in Vanuatu. So just know things are popping off, but I do think it's odd that we're starting to see these things right here close to that parallel, right there on that latitude. And yesterday it was like eerily like right on the same latitude. So I don't know if there's any science behind that, but oh, it's okay. You do not have to apologize for that, George. Not at all. I mean, serious. Never apologize. for that kind of stuff. I'm just happy you come and you hang out and you're willing to go over there. I mean, my gosh, I'm glad you do. So, that's, hey, it is what it is. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to, hey, Ashley, when it comes to the earthquakes. I mean, serious. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I mean, so yeah. Also, let me do this real quick too. Before I get off here. Again, I wish I could drop a link. But this is Mark Pyers. Obviously, I'm going to be going over there here in a minute. Okay, guys? I'm just going to go ahead and do this right in front of you. Watch this. Hey, everyone. Come laugh with me. I'm in the chat if you want to talk. See ya there. Alright, guys. So I'm going to head over there in just a second. I do appreciate all you guys. Before I get off here, do you guys have any questions on anything that I kind of put out there? Back at you, Rick. Good to see you, bud. Yep. Yep. Happy solstice back to you. First day of winter, guys. Hey, Gemma, how you doing? Axe. So yeah, guys. Good night, Peggy. Guys, come over to Mark's and hang out for a while. We'll go over there and just have a good time. Well, thanks, Jerry. I appreciate that. I know it took me a minute to kind of get into the groove there for a second. Yeah. Hey, Ricky, good happy birthday. Happy birthday. Everybody tell Ricky happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. YouTube is a zoo. Anyway, just had to mess with you there a little bit. Good to have you guys. But, yeah, guys, so please come on over to Mark's show. That's where I'm going to be. It is hysterical. Look what he's showing right here with these face swaps. These things are, I mean, you're going to laugh. I don't care. If you don't laugh at this stuff, my gosh. Wow, I don't know what's going to make you laugh. You know, so yeah. So anyway, guys, God bless. Yahusha saves, and oh, yeah. My PayPal's in the description. Did I say it earlier? I might have. Anyway. Love you guys. Thank you, Ricky. Happy birthday. Marie. God bless. Yahusha saves, and